I just can't stop gushing about the experience of being at an arcade back during the 80s and the 90s, as the joy of being at one is too indescribable to explain. Those days may be long gone now, but thanks to emulation and digital re-releases, some of us can relive those fun times while others can see what the fuss was all about. With that being said, I have 20 titles that I feel are a must-have for your video game collection, so sit back and enjoy the countdown, which is in no favorable order. Number 20, Knights of the Round. The Tale of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table is a story that has been told a countless amount of times across several different mediums, but no medium ever quite got it right like the arcade beat-em-up developed by Capcom. With an amazing soundtrack, enjoyable boss battles, and an infectious leveling up system that transforms your character of choice into a super medieval badass, revisiting this title never gets old. Number 19, Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong, for all intents and purposes, was the start of two video game icons giving rise to what we know today as the platforming genre. The game's protagonist, known only as Jumpman at the time, went on to star in his own video game, and we all know how far that guy went. That guy went far. Donkey Kong still features some of the most challenging levels a platformer ever had to offer. This is certainly apparent by the sheer difficulty of getting through the first board as you attempt to reach your barrel-throwing antagonist with jump time and precision. Number 18, Pac Man. No other video game quite did the amazing like Pac Man. It's hard to believe that such an intense and fun-driven experience can be a thing with just the use of a 4-way directional control system. This amazing feat is due in part to our power pellet eating protagonist as you navigate your way through several level labyrinths, all the while avoiding the opposition bent on making you literally disappear. Number 17, Super Street Fighter II Turbo. The true godfather of the fighting game genre came with the second title in the series. After 3 years and several iterations, the final version for the amazing sequel became the foundation of the genre moving forward. With a fully fleshed out game system that included a combo counter, a powerful super move for each character, and a nice boost in speed, Super Street Fighter II Turbo remains one of the more coveted entries in the series, still played today among veteran and interested newcomers alike. Number 16, The Simpsons arcade game. Whatever was in the water at Konami development headquarters had to be some powerful stuff, as the company hit the arcade scene with some of the most prolific beat-em-up experiences known to man. One of these titles in particular featured the cartoon comedic world of the iconic TV show known as The Simpsons, and man did it deliver in ways I could not have even remotely imagined. Homer and family fight to save Maggie from the clutches of Mr. Smithers of all people. Mr. Smithers. What is important here is the amazing character design and animation that went into the title, which for its time was a technical marvel that still holds up to this day. Number 15, Outrun. Outrun may be a racing game, but it certainly doesn't feel like one. Its intense courses are somewhat disguised in the laid-back atmosphere it presents as you find your way across each location. Its biggest standout comes at the beginning, where you can choose one of the 3 amazing soundtracks to take with you on your haphazard ride-along. Outrun's challenging gameplay ensures that you'll be in for a long ride, where you'll find reaching a new destination to not only be refreshing, but a very huge accomplishment. Number 14, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. In 1988, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles took Saturday morning cartoons by storm, and what followed was nothing more than pure, unadulterated fandom. There was no question that a video game based on the heroes in the half-shell would surface just a year later. Konami, who got the honors of developing both arcade and console titles, created an instant arcade masterpiece of a game, leaving no stone unturned when it came to detail. You really had to see this game at the time to believe that such a thing could exist, and to this day I wonder if there were aliens working for the company because the game was just too visually stunning to be real. Number 13, Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder is a serious exercise of a game, and if you can get past the first level without dying on the first few tries, you have my respect. No doubt inspired by the secret Asian 007 films, Rolling Thunder is a challenging side-scrolling shooter that keeps you on your toes from beginning to end. With a special gameplay feature that lets you hide and catch the drop on incoming enemies, the game becomes unbearably addictive due to its inherent difficulty and engaging gameplay. Number 12, NBA Jam Tournament Edition. The NBA Jam series literally took the sport of a favorite pastime and dunked it on its head. Its now iconic players from the 90s era remains one of the most memorable sports titles, with over-the-top dunking animations and probably the best in-game announcer ever to grace a video game. It's undeniably a treasure trove of nostalgia and still a solid arcade game that I would recommend to anyone looking for fun. Number 11. Defender. Probably one of the most unique side-scrolling shoot-'em-ups ever created, Defender puts you in the seat of a high-flying spacecraft as you attempt to navigate and shoot your way through dangerous terrain in an effort to protect astronauts from incoming invaders. Its fast-paced action and challenging levels make it an all-time favorite that I recommend you at least try once, as it certainly puts your reactions to the test. Number 10. Super Sprint. A Formula One racing game, Super Sprint takes a different approach to the traditional racing genre by giving players a top-down perspective. As you fight to take first by taking shortcuts, avoiding oil spills, and powering up your vehicle, you will find the gameplay starts to get pretty addictive while you traverse each track. Number 9. Final Fight. A precursor to the amazing Street Fighter II fighting game, Final Fight was an attempt at correcting the flaws that plagued another favorite beat-em-up of mine, Double Dragon. Needless to say, the experiment was a success and the experience was amazing. Final Fight gives you 3 characters varying in strength and skill set, amazing art design, impeccable game control, and one of the most epic finales in video game history, making it a beat-em-up you must get your hands on. Number 8. Samurai Shodown 5 Special. No other video game quite got the code of the samurai down like Samurai Shodown. While the second game in the series seems to be the most lauded title of the franchise, I honestly have more of an affinity for 5 Special, as an update to the 5th entry gave players a more balanced cast, coupled with the amazing graphics upgrade that came along in the 3rd offering. All the amazing subtleties are there, including atmospheric game music and very serene backgrounds, a detail which forever made this game a memorable hallmark. Number 7. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. For the first time in the series, Mortal Kombat would see an update to its 3rd offering, bringing back cast members who were sorely missed in the original version. Overall, big changes were clearly apparent coming from the second game in the series, adding a more fast-paced style of gameplay on top of a deeper combat system that gave players access to some stylish combos. Number 6. Super Dodgeball. Who doesn't like throwing a ball at other human beings at high speeds? An old physical ed pastime apparently was more than just schoolyard fun, and Super Dodgeball shows you how it's done the right way. Kind of. As Team USA, you travel the world as the difficulty ramps up for each country. Super Dodgeball is loads of fun and all types of funny as you see your teammates and opponents feel the wrath of an incoming projectile hitting its human target in some of the most peculiar and gratifying ways. Number 5. Afterburner. No doubt influenced by the 80s flick starring a young Tom Cruise, Afterburner puts you behind the F-14 as you launch missiles, barrel roll, and avoid the opposition through 8 challenging levels of some of the most intense dogfighting I have personally experienced in a game. The accompanying soundtrack certainly recreates the same intense atmosphere that played out in the movie, making this a standout title that I urge you to try out, preferably on a flight stick if you have one lying around. Number 4. Natal Slug. The Neo Geo arcade system was hands down one of the best gaming experiences during the 90s. While there were several amazing titles on this incredible hardware, one game in particular stood out among the rest: Natal Slug. Its amazing hand-drawn animation and character design instantly make it hypnotizing eye candy, and given this is only an introductory to the series that produced 6 more titles after, I'm not at all putting on airs when I say that you are in for a treat with this one. Number 3. Boogie Wings. It goes without saying that there were a lot of high-flying side-scrolling shooters available in the arcade. A lot of them. But none of them quite seemed to grab my attention the way Boogie Wings did. The game starts off with you piloting the classic propeller fighter planes of the 1920s, and then things just go crazy as the game lets you jump into various machines or take on a mass army of enemies on your own 2 feet to complete each eye-popping level. Number 2. WWF Superstars. If you think WWE Raw is the most amazing wrestling show on earth, chances are you missed out on the WWF and its star-studded ensemble. Superstars puts you in control of some of the legendary members of this period in time for a tag team extravaganza that was certainly a technical marvel for its time and without a doubt, one of the more nostalgic trips down memory lane. Number 1. The King of Fighters 98. SNK was definitely a major force when it came to fighting games, releasing back-to-back titles during the height of the genre's popularity. During this process, they would make history and create one of their biggest franchises by offering up a star-studded crossover culminating in a 3-on-3 brawl fest for the ages. The fourth entry brought back all the playable cast members created in the franchise thus far, alongside an option that let you choose the style of mechanics you enjoyed from the series. It's been a pretty heavy debate about which game in the series was the best, but I have to stick with my guns on 98 being the most fun I've had out of the franchise. Well, that is it for my top 20. I probably missed out on mentioning a few favorites, but maybe there'll be a part 2 to this. You never know. What are your must-play arcade games? Put them down in the comment box below. For now, this is The Core, your resident entertainment techie, signing out.